state of boredom, so to speak, not adding any value to anything, that is the environment that will breed this place of nothingness, where your creative power that is built into you will start to invent things based on your state of mind and your state of heart. If someone is not sorted out, if they're in the world and they only have a fleshly soul, then that creative power will then extract the essence of what is within that person. Now, normally, people who are in the world are either self-centered, selfish, got a problem with the ego, and that is the breeding ground for sin. They also have, like anybody else, we have wants and needs, and looking at other people, that will breed covetousness, which is the 10th commandment, do not covet. And covetousness is to get something that is not yours that belongs to someone else. But you do that on a spiritual level, on a soul level, before you manifest that as an action. So covetousness is actually what Yeshua referred to as, if you think of it in your heart, you've already done it. Because covetousness is like coveting someone else's wife, or coveting a woman. Now, if you think about that, if you covet in your heart, you already committed adultery if you're married. So the idea of raising the bar that I had in my mind, it is actually not raising the bar. It is breaking the commandment on the inside before it manifests on the outside. And breaking the commandment on the inside is basically breaking the 10th commandment, which is not to covet. Because covetousness leads to adultery, it leads to murder, it leads to stealing, and also has the outflow where you have to lie to cover up the sin you committed. So most of the sins that are in the 10 commandments, the majority of them that you can commit against your fellow man, is rooted in covetousness, which is an inner level breaking of the commandment, which Yeshua was actually revealing when he said, if you're angry without reason, you basically murder. If you look at someone, at a woman or someone else's partner, you commit adultery if you're married. So the seed level of the sin happens on the inside, and when that seed grows, it manifests. And in the same way, the place of nothingness is the internal level where there's a seed that will sprout. Whether that seed grows out of covetousness, whether it grows out of the ego, whether it grows out of selfishness, that little seed will grow and then manifest in the flesh. So what is the remedy to help us not to walk in evil? Like James said, we should stay away from being evil, doing filthiness. It has to do with guarding your heart, knowing and be conscious of what's happening in your heart. And the best and practical way to do this is to have daily introspection. What happened today? Or be conscious, be aware, be present every moment of the day, knowing what is happening on the inside. And your emotional center, your heart, normally give you a hint of maybe you breaking a commandment. For example, if you hear something, you listen to something, or you listen to a conversation, or you see someone, and you feel this feeling inside of you of jealousy or regret or need, whatever it is an emotional experience. So if you listen to your heart will expose the inner seeds that are starting to sprout. So the world tells us to follow the heart, scriptures are written within a time period for certain people, within a certain situation, within a certain culture. Now we live in a different culture, different time frame. It is not written to us, but it's written for our benefit. So how do we extract wisdom from the scriptures? How do we do that? Now, there's some various tools we can use, and one of them is using the Hebrew language and the meaning of the Hebrew words, and where that word is found first in Scripture, and also breaking it down to its root word, where that word is first found in Scripture. And that story, that event, is normally a colorful picture of something that happened, like Joseph being cast into the pit, or Moses leading the people, or Mount Sinai experience. There's a picture there. I call them word pictures. And word pictures have symbolism in them. For example, Mount Sinai, there's a mountain, there's fire, there's a voice, there are people, there's a leader, there's commandments. Each one of them can relate to you within your time frame, within your culture. So analyzing that story in the context of that word that link back to the passage that you actually study is just giving you a bit of a backdrop and understanding. And that's the way the Hebrew language works. It's holographic, it's patterns overlaying with other patterns. It's like puzzle pieces coming together, but multi-layered puzzle pieces that make a three-dimensional picture. And as you layer one picture over another, one storyline over another, and you will even go overlay your own life with that, you'll glean so much wisdom that's applicable to your life in your current situation. So that's just something. Just to explain, how do we glean wisdom? Now, the wisdom we need is required for us to stand strong within every situation. So when you listen to your heart, in the context of being aware of your emotions, because your emotions are basically the energy that's released when that little seed is popping, when that first little sprout wants to come out. And you have to deal with that. If it's the wrong seed, you need to pull that out immediately. You need to deal with that emotion. You need to compare that with word. And that's the other passage that is also in the study of James. It talks about looking into the mirror. And when you look into the mirror, you forget your face. Now, when you look into the mirror, it's a snapshot of what you look like in the morning, for example, when you comb your hair, whatever. And when you walk away from the mirror, you have prepared yourself in relation to what the mirror told you, the feedback the mirror gave you on how your hair should look, your makeup or whatever you put on, to make yourself presentable in this world. Now, the scripture is compared to be a mirror as well. When we look at the scripture, it's a snapshot of our lives interacting with the scripture. And now I can see, when I study Yahweh expects of us through His fruit of His Spirit, are the means to fill the voids. And those seeds, when you plant those seeds, they will grow out of an emotional state of peace and love and joy. And that's what we want to do. So if you listen to your heart now, right now, in this moment, what does your heart tell you? Are you a bit upset? Do you feel a bit anxious or frustrated? What do you feel right now? Now that emotion, in this point of time, compare that emotion with the fruit of the Spirit. Is it kindness, goodness, peace, love, joy? Is it anything related to the fruit of the Spirit? If not, then you have to deal with that seed that is currently sprouting inside your heart, which might be fear, jealousy, or anything that is not of Yahweh, which is rooted in evil and nothingness. And you have to replace that, pull out the sprout and replace it with the seed of the fruit of the Spirit, and deliberately make a decision not to allow that emotion, and then think of anything that's good, anything that's worthy of thinking about. I think Peter has a beautiful passage that advises what to think of. And when you think of those things, then you basically replace that thought, that sprout, that emotion that is not in line with the fruit of the Spirit. So test yourself in the moment, be conscious, be aware, live in the present so you can catch yourself when you're out of line. So that is basically just a bit of a colouring in around naughtiness and evil and how to deal with that. We also talk about filthiness. Now, filthiness is anything that will defile you in any way. Now, filthiness is not necessarily to do with you, it's to do with you in relation to Yahweh's holiness and in relation to Yahweh's house. Because people weren't allowed to enter His house, enter His presence when they are unclean. So it's about purification and preparation for entering the presence. So filthiness has everything to do with your preparation. Now, every festival and every Sabbath is a dress rehearsal, and it's a time for preparation for the bride. So filthiness, to overcome filthiness, is to replace it with a time of preparation. So you can also have daily preparation, where you study the Word, when you meditate the Word, when you think upon the Word. It's also a time of preparation, that mirror time you spend in the morning, reflecting on your life, reflecting on the Word, or whatever you're studying, whether it's a Torah cycle, whether it's a scripture you're going through. Just reflecting on that is part of your preparation, but specifically the Sabbath. Now, the Sabbath is all about moving into the Sabbath, the time of mixing of light and darkness, the time of the crossover. That's also a picture that has to do with the end times. There's a time called the Great Tribulation, the time of mixing, the time of crossover, from a time frame where the kingdom of darkness reigns into the time frame where the kingdom of Yahweh will reign, and there's conflict in between. Now, when the sun sets, there is a mixing of light and darkness before the darkness comes. And when the darkness comes, the stars are revealed, and the stars are people who follow Yahweh, as we saw in the previous study. And their light will shine the brightest in the time of darkness. So our preparation of not doing filthiness is all about sorting out your life so that when you come into a situation of darkness, or when the time of darkness comes, that you will walk in the way Yahweh expects you to walk. It is to create the right habits, mix with the right people, fill your mind with the right thoughts, study His Word, get His Word to you, get into the habit of doing His work and His Word, which is the next verse in James 1, I think it's verse 25. Be doers of the Word, not only hearers. And what he say just after that is, So for example, if I want to buy a house or a car or whatever, and I gather some information about the property or about the motor vehicle I want to buy, but I don't get the right information, I get the wrong information, I don't really think about the application or where I want to go, what I want to use it for. You don't really think it through, you just make an impulsive decision based on face value. And a lot of people make decisions regarding their relationships in that way. They only make a decision based on the outwardly. Oh, this is a very attractive young woman, or a very attractive young man. Oh, and I really like her, she's so nice, she's so beautiful. And then you just make a decision to have a relationship. Before you do that, you need to go and write down what you expect of your relationship. What do you want her to be like? What belief system she should have? What likes and dislikes? How will she compliment you in any way? And when you go into that situation where you have to make a decision, your predefined criteria will filter out the wrong one immediately, and you won't engage with the wrong person and break your heart. There's a lot of people, we spoke to a couple the other day, they went through one relationship to another, and they think that, they encourage their children, just have as many relationships as you can, because that will give you enough practice in order to make the right decision when the right one comes along. I don't agree with that at all. If I want to buy, say a red BMW, why will I go and buy a piece of rubbish, and then another piece of rubbish, and then another piece of rubbish that breaks down, that's dented, with it? Even though I can afford to buy the perfect car, I'm just impatient because the red BMW is not available right now. So I just go along and I just buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that, and then waste my money. End of the day, when a red BMW comes along, I don't have any money left. So you will be emotionally poor. And whenever you get into a relationship, then you have so much baggage that might damage that relationship based on your past history, your past experience. So it is not wise to do that. So what Yahweh wants us to do is to have the mindset of preparation. Just like you prepare for the Sabbath, like we prepare for the end times, like we prepare for a festival, we make sure that we understand what is required to have that activity or have that meeting, and then we prepare. Once you go into that meeting, you are well prepared, and then you can enjoy that, and you can do that successfully without any issues, and then you can experience the love, peace, and joy during that time. So avoiding filthiness is all about preparing to enter into the presence of the Father. It's all about sorting out your life. It's all about holiness, actually. So filthiness, emptiness, voidness, nothingness, the place of nothingness, which is a breeding ground for breaking any commandment, because there's a void. You need to fill that with the fruit of the Spirit. You need to fill that with Yahweh's word in order not to allow any seed that is not of Yahweh to sprout within your heart. And the thing we do to test that is to listen to the emotions of your heart. Be aware of that, so you can catch yourself out doing the wrong thing. And do not follow the emotion of the heart, but be aware and test So the purpose of the light is for you to see the light and to know that it is good. Now there's many little idioms that says, oh, you just saw the light. It means that you've got a eureka moment. You've got this little light bulb above your head. You've got this insight, this understanding. Oh, I grasp it now. Now I understand. It's that aha moment that Re'eh is referring to. So the mirror that James is talking about, Paul also speaks about that in 1 Corinthians, I think 1 and 2, where also referred to the mirror concept compared to Yahweh's word. And Yahweh's word is the only place where you will find the aha moment, the revelation, where you will actually see the light in regarding anything. So when you engage with His word, always be aware that you need to be sensitive to receive wisdom in between the lines, the white space in between the black space. A lot of people miss out on the wisdom of Yahweh because they say that part is done away with. But that part, it contains actually the supernatural language with all the wisdom within it. And if you link that back to the Brit Chadashah, and you link that back to your culture, your application, you will find so much wisdom and be able to live your life free from filthiness, free from evil and emptiness. You will be full of Yahweh's presence and the fruit of His Spirit. So that's all I want to share today. So I hope you have a lovely day. Speak to you soon. Shalom.